Hey everybody, this is LennyTV and I'm here with my special guest Vanity. Constance, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Okay.
I met you last year at one of my friends in the size events. I met
Okay.
Mr. Lemonade.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. When he does his little events where he sells his lemonade and everybody goes to it.
Yes.
Met you there, and from there on, when I would go to certain events in Wilmington, I would see you everywhere. And then before then, I'd seen you hosting too. What got you into this whole community aspect and everything involving Wilmington?
Okay, so I was working at a community development corporation for the past 6.5 years.
Okay.
And before that, I actually was a public ally, and that actually changed my life. I would recommend anyone that doesn't really know what to do and wants to get involved in the community and making a difference to become a public ally, just to kind of get their feet wet. But I've always been giving my whole entire life, just giving back to my community. Originally, I'm not even from here, but I truly do have a heart for Delaware and Wilmington. I don't know. I feel like I'm always growing and finding out ways to become involved. And I don't mind being in the forefront of something, just to be an inspiration for someone else. I feel like that's one of my gifts that I had to get over. Oh my gosh, Vanity, you have the gift of influence. So I'm just utilizing my gift and my platform just to spread love and put others on. Because I believe it's enough pie for everybody to win.
True. And you're from Texas, right?
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas.
Houston,
Okay.
Texas.
Now, how did you manage to get all the way here in Wilmington, Delaware?
Okay, well, I didn't have a choice. I'm 24 years old right now. My parents moved here many years ago.
Okay.
And they actually have moved to Florida since, so I don't have any more family here. It's only me. So I've been here for quite some time.
Okay. So how was that when they moved to Florida? Was that tough for you?
You know what? It was tough. I'm the oldest of 9. I have a lot of siblings. I love my family so dearly. I miss my mom. I miss my dad. But you know what? I had to stay here because I have to have my own legacy and just learn my own way. So it's a growing process.
Okay. And recently I went to the South. I went to West Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia, and I'm checking out all these states, and it was kind of boring for me. Unless you're doing a podcast or an event or something like that, or if it's a big college football game, it was really nothing to do in the South.
Yeah.
And everybody I talked to said they'll go to Atlanta to do things. But I'm it made me appreciate Delaware a lot more, Wilmington, Delaware, because we're surrounded by Philly, New York. We're closer to a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I realized we can make Wilmington pop. We can make Delaware pop as a state. And I realized that you've been doing that. Jasmine Brown, Geronimo, a lot of people. Do you feel like it's been a movement in Delaware since 2016 of people just getting together, young people, and just making the state pop?
Okay, so I feel like we're just tired of complaining, and instead of complaining, we're putting our energy towards actually implementing the things that we actually want to see in our own state. So rather than traveling to Philly or Baltimore, DC, it's a great place. Those are great places to go.
Yes.
We are cultivating and building things to do in our own city with our own creatives locally, and it's only been thebomb.com, and I'm just so honored just to be a part of a lot of the processes that do happen in events and creating my own as well. I'm all about creating dope experiences for folks, and I just love seeing it all come together.
Now, do you think, let's say in 3 to 4 years, do you think Wilmington is gonna be that it spot to go to instead of people saying, oh, I drive past Delaware to get here, but do you think it's gonna be that places to stop to because they want to go to events that you host, or they want to go to certain open mics and things like that? Do you think it's gonna be that go-to spot?
You know what? We have to be consistent. I feel as long as we stay consistent and we stay dedicated to being yo, we have to make our own place dope before going to other places, I feel it can become an it spot. But the perspective of many people has to change too, where we have to invest in our own place as well.
True.
You gotta invest where you eat and where you sleep at. So.
That's so true. That's so true. And I also wanted to ask you, when was your first time hosting? Because I can tell you're natural at it now, but when was your first time hosting?
First time hosting? So I'm really trying to polish that skill set because I want to do it more and more for just all kinds of events, whether it be corporate, community events. My first time, I would say it was about 6 years ago.
Okay.
It's been some time.
Yeah,
it's been some time.
It flies by though.
It does fly. I'm just thinking I think it was 6 years ago. But yeah, I definitely want to just keep polishing that.
Okay, cool. And I also wanted to ask you too, when did you meet Jasmine Brown, and how did the whole open mic thing just start?
Okay, so me and Jasmine actually met because she was interested in joining my love advocacy group, and so we were corresponding, and she became like a core leader with that initiative that I have. And ever since then, she told me that she was starting an arts agency, and of course, I'm all about the arts and community.
Yes.
So we just naturally started building, and she was kind of new to Wilmington, so I feel like I was holding her hand like a little bit, like showing her different things, exposing her to meet this person, that person, and then we honestly, we actually built like a friendship too. So everything just kind of like core aligned and aligned like with the universe, with us just working together, being friends, and also with her business. So I'm so proud of her. And so she just started that, and it's just becoming like, it's just booming, you know, but she's staying consistent, and I'm so proud of her.
Okay. Now, would you consider yourself as a woman that makes power moves, like business wise, or like just makes power moves into like getting things done for her community?
Yeah.
Okay. And you consider yourself a leader?
Yes, I would. Yes.
Now, is it hard being a woman when like you're trying to be, let's see, understood as a leader and making power moves, but like let's say certain guys or something that may try to use you for your looks or things like that, just so you can have a venue or have a spot. Do you deal with that often, or did you deal with that before?
Yeah. Okay. You know, humans will be humans, and I feel like ego and the carnal mind will always be there. You know, with that being said, you have to just be focused and you have to have your task list and just get things done. You know, but I feel like humans will be humans. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
That's all good. Now, you recently posted that you met your biological father.
Yes, yes.
And how was that meeting? And then, like, how did that even like come about?
Oh my gosh, so it's so crazy. So I heard so many rumors about my father growing up. I had never met him like ever in my life. And so it was so crazy. I was doing some curriculum development, and I was doing some contracting down in Lower Delaware in June. And me and the kids were having conversations about how we had never met our real fathers or mothers. And then I told them, I was like, yeah, I never met my dad. I don't know what's going on. Like, I heard so many stories. So I told them during my lunch break I was going to like Google him and Facebook him. Like, I was going to try to find him on social media one more time. And so it so happened, like, I have looked up this man so many times, and I have never found anything about him. But this one time during my lunch break, down in like Seaford, Delaware, he was like, I typed in his name is Jeffrey McNish, and he was the first person that popped up, and I got this warm feeling.
Wow.
So I inboxed this random guy. Mind you, I had never met my white side of the family. I'm black and white. Like, my mom's side is all, you know, black. So I'm like the light bright, whatever. So I inboxed this random white guy, and I was like, yo, hi, my name is Vanity, Constance Sanders. 24 years ago, did you know like a woman named Tisha Sanders? And that's my mom's name. And he was like, yes. And I was like, yo, call me. So it was so interesting, and everything aligned. He knew everything about like my mom, and it was just interesting. It's still interesting to me. I'm still processing it, but I'm so fortunate to have met him. And I have other siblings, and like Houston, I'm meeting during Christmas this year.
That's awesome.
So I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful.
Yeah, I know you're excited for that. Yeah,
I am.
Yeah, it's always good to meet.
He's interesting.
It's always good to meet like new sides of the family all the time.
Yes.
All right, and then when you let's see, have you ever hosted like a hectic event like throughout your 6 years? Have you hosted something that was hectic, like too much, like where I don't know if the police arrived or something, but was it ever like something that was just too much?
Too much. I'm trying to think.
And you don't gotta tell on the people, but it could be a
no. I know what you mean. Too much. You know what? There has been times where things have been so disorganized. I don't like not knowing like what I'm talking about at times. And when all the attention's on you, it is your job to kind of narrate the story and the feng shui of why people are there. So I have gone through different times where I'm hosting events, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, what am I talking about?
Yeah.
I don't understand the energy right now, but I had to just keep going. And sometimes, honestly, I don't feel like being in front of people or exchanging energy, because I had to like pour back into myself. So it's getting over myself sometimes and realizing like, you know what? I'm doing this for somebody else, you know? So, yeah, it's many times where I'm like tired. I'd be tired.
Yeah. So do you have a lot of all-nighters sometimes where you just got like the next day you gotta like just sleep that whole day and stay to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. If I've learned anything in life, you have to pour back into yourself. Mm-hmm. If you want to be the best you can be for others, you have to like pour just as much into yourself. Mm-hmm. So I've learned that the hard way. Trust and believe. I'm sure you have too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I understand. There'd be days where, let's say I have 6 interviews, and then after that, like writing and then talking to my illustrators, and then I realized, dang, it's been a day and a half and I ain't getting any sleep.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, I need some sleep. I gotta, if somebody, and then that same day, it may be people that want interviews, and I gotta be like, not today. I gotta like, I'm a freaking die. Yeah. I gotta get some sleep first. Like, yeah. So it's like that, and then, and I'm pretty sure you'll wake up to a bunch of messages all the time. Same thing with me.
See, we're creative. We understand. I'm telling you, like, we go through similar things, but we all think we're so different. I'm like, no, we go through similar stuff.
Yes. And every time you do host open mics, I've noticed you always have like a word of the night or word of the day.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm in school or something because I might forget, and you just say, "What is it?" And I'll be like, "Oh, damn." Like, okay. But so why did you come up with that concept of having like a word of the day or things like that?
Well, I just believe you have to own things. So I'm trying to make it myself. So every open mic, I typically do a cipher, and then I have like a word of the night, and I kind of talk about like what's going on like in my mind and thoughts too. But any platform, I always like to reiterate like how to get involved locally, because I feel like we're obsessed like with the federal level, national level of things, but people aren't even involved locally, you know. So I just try to take that platform and just try to make it my own, doing that. I know the last open mic I didn't do the cipher because it was just running too long. Yeah, but typically I do the ciphers and stuff like that. But yeah, I just love pouring back into other people too.
What happened with that last open mic? The people, was it like a rush of people like late? Or because I remember when I first got there, was only 3 names on the list. Yeah. Now, I think like what 7:30ish. That's when a rush of people come.
Yes. It was like 24. I was like 24 artists.
Wow.
And I loved it, mind you. But I'm like, guys, I can't be here till 11 o'clock. Yeah. You know. But no, that was really great. I feel like it was more in depth, and people. I feel like each open mic is so unique because people's vibes are different. Yeah. Like sometimes it's focused on love, but this time it was more focused on like politics. Of course, it's a lot going on like in America. Yeah. This one was more about going within, and I really appreciated that. It was deep.
It sure was.
It was deep, wasn't it deep?
They were doing their thing, and I can't wait to post some of that on Facebook because they were, especially homegirl, kicking that knowledge about, like she said, I apologize for what my ancestors did. She went hard. Chills. Yeah, I love her. She went hard. So
her name was Hillary.
Yeah.
Yo, Hillary, she snapped.
She sure did, and like that's why I love things like that. You know what? I talk to a lot of rappers too. Okay. Because I interview anybody, poets, and anybody that's doing anything in the community. But most of my platform is you'll see rappers. Now with the rappers, they tell me like it's not a lot of support in Delaware, and I guess I don't know if it's because it's a competition thing with them or anything. But have you noticed that when it comes to being an entrepreneur or starting a business, that is not a lot of support here in Delaware? Is it? Do you think? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yes, I have run into that. I feel as though it's all about perspective, and I keep mentioning ego. I feel like it's a lot of ego. Like people want to be the first at this. It's not a lot of inclusivity. Like like we all can't win. If we're all winning, like no, that's too much. You know.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
I feel like people feel as though there's only a little bit of pie to eat. No, there's enough for everyone. Like, no matter what, I can never be Lenny and Lenny can never be Vanity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like, we really have a hard time, in my opinion, appreciating, like, one another's art. It could be similar. Just because we're similar, like, we could both, like, do videography, but guess what? Our styles are going to be different than everything else. So why not just support one another and just dab it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like we don't have to be friends, but it's still like, yo, what's up? I support you.
Yep.
But instead of that, it's just like bickering and back and forth. And I'm like, humans, get it together. Like we can all win.
Yes.
So I just like to stay in my lane and just keep supporting. Like we can all win.
Yeah, and that's what I try to do too. Like me, when I noticed, when I start interviewing these rappers, I noticed that like it was like. It's inside tension that they wouldn't talk about. But recently, I want to say like last month or 2 months ago, it went Delaware viral. That's what I say. Okay. Isaiah Lee put out a tweet about the top rappers in Delaware, and that's when they start like coming at each other's neck and yeah. So and I was like, okay, this is good that the tension is out. let's talk about why you guys are like this towards each other.
So tense.
Yeah. It was so tense. So we got to the bottom of it, and they were just like, most of the rappers felt like the hottest term when everybody said, I'm the hottest in Delaware, I'm the hottest like that. They said you can have that mentality, but don't go out boasting about it when you're not like signed to a label, or if you're not like making $1 million, you know, things like that. This is how they felt, because, you know, I don't know what it's like to be a rapper.
Yeah.
This is how they felt. And I was just like, wow, man, like, you guys should like just start working together though. I think like
Lenny.
teamwork. I think teamwork is just the best. Like me, I don't run the open mic series. I don't do anything with it. Like, but I know you and I know Jasmine from going to these things, and I know like afterwards from the last show I offered to help put things away.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this teamwork. Like,
I really appreciate it.
You know, this teamwork. If I can help you set up things or put things away, I'm gonna do that, because it's like, it's good to have an extra hand in something, and then like that's when you develop friendships and things like that.
Yes.
And then that's how Wilmington can come up. I feel like, you know, if we all could just have like a certain teamwork, if it's music, poetry, anything, we'll be up there with Philly and Chicago. Talking about like a big name.
Yeah.
You know, people will know what Wilmington is. Yeah. So
I agree with you.
I feel like that's gonna be, you know, in the near future. I feel like it's gonna happen. Now, who do you listen to? You definitely have a lot of friends in the music industry. Who do you listen to, like R&B wise and rap wise? I know you like A Wood.
Oh my gosh, I'm such a fan of A Wood. Who else locally? I love when I hear my girl Lady Define. I love Lady.
Hold on, she got SoundCloud, right? Did she got SoundCloud?
I believe so.
Okay.
And she's a phenomenal singer. I can listen to her all day. And she's also a close friend of mine. Who else locally? I know, oh my gosh, I love A Wood. These names are like passing me by right now. But they know I love them. They know I love and support them.
Do you have any advice for, you know, young women or young men that's on your path that want to host things in Delaware, like, but they don't know where to start? Like, what advice would you give them to start and, like, you know, being consistent?
Okay. I would say, you know what, don't be afraid. Like, if you want to host something, just ask. Like, the worst thing that can happen is what? They say no.
No, yeah.
But guess what? There are so many other events and people to connect with. So put yourself in a position where you can host, or like whatever you want to do. But put yourself in a position where you're like, I am the shit. This is going to happen. But don't be scared of no. Like, don't be scared of something if you're not going to try it. True. Like, just do it. Like, there is no sky limit. Like, just do it.
Yep. So
I would say, if you really want to do something, like, you'll do it with no excuses. So just get out there, be vulnerable, ask questions, but be consistent.
All right. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Lenny.
You're welcome.